connection and let me know where you are joining me from. Hi everyone, my name is Flora Bezi. I am a digital accessibility expert and founder at Linoratech. Linoratech is an incredible company with the value and mission to help leaders and professionals create experiences that are inclusive to everyone. I know my passion is in the digital world, but you know what? We should not leave anyone behind, especially those with disabilities, visible or invisible. I like to describe myself because in the audience, sometimes we have people who are blind and people with no vision. So I am a Black woman. I'm always smiling, but you might be able to tell that I'm always laughing too. I am currently rocking some long braids, I would say. They kind of brownish, I think. And I am wearing a red suit and a black blouse. And that's about it. Today, gosh, I am so excited about the talk today. In my field of work, doing a review on accessibility and inclusion on digital product like website or digital content, one thing has been a bit challenging to make accessible, and that is usually around data, graph, and so much more. But you know what? I want to talk today about how we can make sure that data are accessible. And today is all about finding the path to inclusion, visualization. And I have the perfect guest speaker here with me. I mean, he's just incredible. And guess what? I found him all the way from Norway, and he's an amazing guy. His name is Øystein. He's the chief product officer. You know what? I'm just gonna bring Øystein on, and please help me welcome Øystein. Hi, Øystein.
Hi, Flora. Thanks for having me on. I'll do the name as well because it's tricky, and I apologize. It's a difficult one internationally. But I am Øystein Moseng, and I am Norwegian. So thank you for bringing me in digitally. And it would have been a long travel otherwise, I think.
I'm super happy that you're here. I see a few comments, Austin, perhaps people saying hi. So let me address that and we'll talk more. So I see someone that says LinkedIn user, let me track you down. I'm not really sure why my platform doesn't always show, but technology and limitations, you never know. So let me track you down here. I think is, who's that? Massachusetts, Caroline. Hi, Caroline. And I see also Shivatstuti. I hope I'm pronouncing your name all right. She said, hello, everyone. Frankie is in the house. Hi, Frankie. She said, hi, all. Brendan is here. Oh, my goodness. Brendan was the one who introduced us, right, Øystein?
Oh, that's wonderful. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Brendan. And Brendan said, hello, Øystein and Flora. I'm excited to hear about data representation. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Ariel is also here. Ariel say, hi, Flora from Argentina. I am super happy to see so many people, Øystein. And say that again. Am I pronouncing your name right?
It's pretty good, actually. I think there is an American named Austin, right? Which is it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
He's taking my accent. He's very inclusive. So, Øystein, can you just introduce yourself to the audience? Please tell us who you are and what you're passionate about.
Sure. So I'm working as Chief Product Officer with Highcharts. I've been here for well over a decade now, and one of the main focus areas for me actually has been accessibility. I was head of accessibility for a long time before I became CPO, and I still spend a lot of my time actually working with accessibility. And I'm going to learn from you. I'm actually going to describe myself. I don't usually do that. People never ask me to, but I am a white guy in my 30s, and I used to have more hair than I do now, but I'm compensating with a stubble beard. So I'm doing my best. And my shirt for the day is gray.
That's really good. You know what is interesting about self-description? At first, it was also a bit different for me because usually we tend to think that it's just all right. And I noticed that I did find myself a couple of times in situation where I wasn't able to see people. So hearing them describing themselves, I was like, oh, okay. And sometimes I will see, but I won't see some of the details, like you saying that you have less hair. We will know that, you know. So it's quite interesting because it adds a little bit more value and also allow people to kind of give you an identity in the mind. I just love it. But what do you think, audience, about self-description? Is that something you like or dislike? Just give us your viewpoint, you know. We are all inclusive here. There's no wrong answer. I see Nikita, if I'm pronouncing. Yes, Nikita, say hello from Norway. Oh my goodness. Hi, Nikita. So happy you're here. Again, guys, if you have any question, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Nikita, of course, is a colleague of mine, so that's great to have you on here. I'm counting on some support.
I love it. Great support. If you have any question at any point in time, if you want to share your thoughts, please feel free to do that on the comment. We will see that live. If you're hearing something that you love or appreciate, thumbs up, heart. We will take any reaction, right, Austin? We will take anything.
We will take any reaction.
And also, if you're hearing something that is valuable and you want to share in your own network, feel free to just reshare the event and people can watch the replay. All right. So I see someone is commenting on the self-description. I think it's Caroline. Let me just update my LinkedIn so I can track you down, Caroline. But I think that was you. Yes. Caroline said self-description feels like another way to get to know someone and how they describe themselves. I just love it. Yes, Caroline, I agree. I see Eric also say hello from North Pole. Hi, Eric. And Ariel said great self-descriptions from you both. Oh my goodness. So, Austin, you did a fantastic job for the first time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I see a lot. Also, Brendan said, I have the same thoughts about self-description at the NFB. Thank you for sharing, Brendan. I mean, the comments are coming. Please, guys, keep the comments coming. One question I have now for, let me read the last maybe comment and then, but keep on, you know, sharing your comment. We love it. We love when you guys are engaging. Shiva Tuti said, definitely a great practice to do visual descriptions. It's important to empower all individuals to share as much and only if they are comfortable. This is a good point. Not everyone is comfortable to do that. You know, talking about description, we want to talk about, you know, data visualization and how this can be accessible to everyone. But before that, Austin, you told me that you started your journey as a developer and now you are in that level of being an executive and also trying to bring accessibility in many levels. Can you just briefly tell me a little bit more about this journey?
Yeah, I've said this before in interviews. I actually remember distinctly not wanting to go into management because I loved software engineering and I still do, and being able to kind of hone in on very concrete problems and then creatively try to problem solve. And you know, you have the coffee cup and you have the whiteboard, and it's fantastic work. But then it was a gradual thing for me. So I got the opportunity to kind of take more responsibility, particularly around accessibility. And then I ended up liking the challenges that came with it, essentially. So I think management challenges are, they're different from the coding challenges, but it's still problem solving, and I get to be creative. So essentially, I started working as a software engineer with Highsoft on products. So I was working as a product engineer, and we do data visualization tools, data representation tools, and the accessibility part came in a little bit later. But then I got to kind of spearhead that in the engineering and the product side of our organization. And then because the direction that we took was sort of innovative, at least at the time. It gave us some opportunities to go speak at conferences, and it gave us some opportunities to explore some partnerships. We got some attention around it, essentially, that was not just technical. So naturally with it came also some commercial focus, and how do we take this as a strategy for the product and move that further. So eventually we formalized that into a head of accessibility role, where then it's obviously also commercial, but again, it's also not just about a product anymore. So at that point, it's about the whole organization and how do we establish an accessibility program. It's not enough to have an accessible product if your website isn't accessible, right? Your customers don't know that it's different people building the product and the website.
Yeah.
So you're going to lose credibility immediately. And obviously, there's all the hiring practices, right? And all the training that has to go into it. And then eventually now as a CPO, I guess I'm kind of back to the product focus again. So it's almost like a full circle. And I get to care mostly about sort of the innovations that we're doing on accessibility for the products, and play with the most exciting parts of it to me as an engineer as well. So that's fun. And then everything that's not kind of directly product related is mostly handed over to other people, and it's cool to see how it's kind of grown into the backbone of the organization. It's not with me anymore, which is fantastic.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? Hearing you kind of make me think about almost my own journey, into entrepreneurship. And I want to kind of break that down a little bit also for the audience. There are a lot of organizations where accessibility has good roadmap, good, breakdown. You have the right people in place and all of that. But many organizations are still learning about accessibility and integrating accessibility in their processes, And for you to say, hey, I started with the technical part, which was the part I love, but gradually accessibility came to our radar, and I was, running that. And accessibility was not just about the coding, it was also about educating the audience, the client, going to places. You talked about marketing and advertisement and commercialization. Like, you gotta tell that your product are inclusive for people to know. But you also talk about, hey, before all of that, people will try to find your website. And if that website is not accessible, people will judge you based on that. And I had the same problem. When I started my entrepreneurship, I was like, hey, yes, I'm ready. And then I found a website to put my name out there to start my business. Those websites are not accessible. I was like, what is going on here? So I had to work hard to make this, area also accessible. So accessibility is not just in one area, like you said, it's many levels. And I really appreciate that you just break that down for us through your own journey. I'm interested more about also some of the tips, but we will get to that. I see a few comments. Let me read them. And guys, if you have any question at any point in time, like I said, just ask Austin. He's right here. So I see Eric said, before reading a book, you can only judge it by the cover. Bow tie inside. I love it, but that's true. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and sometimes you just have to also use your imagination, especially if you're reading a book. Hopefully, that's the direction that Eric was taking. If not, Eric, you can just give me more context in the comment. I see Mustafa said, great conversation. Thank you so much, Mustafa, for sharing. One of the things that you also said, Austin, is that accessibility has a great impact in many areas. And one of the things that your business has been really good at doing is, making graph and data more accessible. Where can usually people find graphs and data? Where are we using that? I know, obviously, in my mind where I saw them, but can you just share? And audience, please, can you just share as well? Where do you usually see some data? Where do you see graph? Where do you see chart? Where do you see things with numbers? Let us know in the comment section.
I think it's going to be a really long comment section now. Because it's funny when you start paying attention to it. We have data around us absolutely everywhere, and it's, the weather forecast, and it's the stock market, or the housing prices, or it's the school ratings. Where do I send my kids off to? Is it medical data? Right? We all remember the pandemic with all the maps and all the statistics. So it's everywhere, and it's just there usually either to support an argument, or it's there to help you make a decision.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that foundation to build your decision making on, then that's a problem. And I'm guessing that's where you want to take the conversation.
But it's true, because I also, like, recently there were a huge fire in California, and I'm
Mm,
pretty sure that there have been usage of data sharing along the way, just to inform the population, just to inform somehow the world. And I'm pretty sure that accessibility may not have been the first thought in there. And so I've seen a lot of posts from people with disabilities saying that they excluded, they left out. And some people, even to get the bare basic of, being a part of people who get salvage from the situation, rescue from the situation, it was hard. Some people were deaf, they didn't get the information. So today we're really talking about access to information, access to data, including everyone in that case. And I love that you say, hey, data can be found everywhere, either to educate or to push for a decision, or even for innovation. I see a few people sharing content, and I will get back to you, Austin, but I just love it. Okay, I see. Okay, I read Mustafa comments, uh, and Nikita said my favorite is football team.
yeah,
He loved the data from the football from the football team. I love it, but
great
that's true.
example. It's a great example.
Yes, I think, like you said, data can be used everywhere, even in entertainment. I see. I believe that might be Caroline. Caroline, I will assume that this is you. But if it's not, I will check in the comment section, and I will address that. But I think it's Caroline. It could be. It seems that accessibility forces people to think about the value of data to the people who use it, to get to communicating the heart of that value. I just love that. That's a good statement. Question for Austin. Can you give us an example uh, you like of making data more accessible by getting to the heart of the value it provides? I like that. So can you share an example, Austin?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a great way to put it. And it's often what you end up having to do is it's not just, designing a pie chart with colors with good contrast,
Yeah.
because if your user is blind, then you can have all the contrast in the world. It's not going to help you. So you need to find substitutions for and ways to communicate that data in ways where you capture the value, exactly that, capture the value of the data and the intent behind the visualization or the communication. And that can be quite difficult. And I'm not sure I have any perfect examples off the top of my head, but Brandon was in the comment section, and I know he's a sonification expert and proponent of that technique as much as I am. And this is using audio. So we call it audio charts in Highcharts because it's easier to understand than sonification. But it's essentially using music to communicate the data. So, for example, we have a demo on our website where we communicate wind speed by the sound of wind going sort of up in intensity and down in intensity. And so you can see on the chart, it's going up and down the wind speed, but you can also hear it
Yes.
as it's playing along. And in to me, that's an example of going a little bit beyond just accessibility in terms of, yes, you have a list of numbers where you can get the wind speed, right? It's not the same
Yeah.
experience.
I love
And
that.
so it's trying to capture the intent also of the person that um, that put that communication out there because they had something they want to tell with that
Yes.
data. And there is also a reason they use the chart because they want some level of engagement from the user. right? And so that's one way to do it. And you can do the same thing with text descriptions, for example. And I don't know which Caroline this was, but I know some Carolines that have a lot of experience in text descriptions, and you can be poetic about it in some cases, right? And you can really take it further than the just this is a line chart. And I think that's exactly what we need to do. We need to capture the value and the intent behind the communication if we're going to make a truly equitable experience.
I love that. And I think that this is also one way to make it more human, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes people feel like accessibility is just a checklist, right? They will give the bare minimum information while other people are left out, you know? And I love that example that you gave about the wind. Like, I didn't even know that was something that existed. I know, gosh, when Brendan was here talking about making map accessible, I was blown away because for me, maps is usually, that Google map kind of thing that you see. But Brendan said, no, even, a stage, a stadium,
Yeah.
it's the map. Even
Yeah.
an airplane can be made as like a map because of the seat that you can select in. And I was like, wait a minute, I never thought about it. So really, what you're bringing to our attention right now, Austin, is also mind blowing because many people will say that a graph, a pie chart should be just described in text and that's about it. But you can really go above and beyond and making that an experience, a story.
Absolutely.
Or like, I love that word, the intent. You need to capture the intent in the data. Just
Hmm.
love it. I see another person, could be Caroline or could be someone else, who said also data about electricity grids and their level of availability. Outages happen and people need to be able to read that information. This is so true. Data are used everywhere. I love that. Is there any, other tips or recommendation you would love for leaders? Sometimes leaders or even developers are a little bit more resistant when we come and talk about accessibility. But what do you have to share with them? And if you have any statistic or number, please feel free to share as well.
We of course we have numbers. No, I think it's kind of, I always take a two-pronged approach to it, because you have the argument that you should do accessibility because it's the right thing to do,
Yes.
right? And it helps people's lives. And I think that really speaks to a certain type of person, perhaps, or group of people. And then you have the other group of people who are saying, well, we're not running a charity around here. We're here to make money. And so you need a different approach for those people.
Yes.
And that's when you need to bring in a business case. And I think it's for a lot of accessibility evangelists and enthusiasts, it's very frustrating to deal with those people, because very often they themselves are doing it and evangelizing about it because they feel it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
But I think taking those business case people seriously is going to get you very far. That's one tip from my side. And then statistics wise, that business case, I think, is very easy to make for most companies. And of course, you should tailor it to your organization and the people that you're talking to make it as valuable as possible and as accurate as possible. But World Health Organization says 1.3 billion people, right? What is that? 16, 18% around
Yes.
there of the population.
Yeah.
I looked up the numbers in Norway. Because I heard an argument once, well, they're probably all in developing countries, right? Around here, people are mostly healthy. So I looked up the numbers in Norway, and if you look at people from 15 to 66, so that would be probably the most healthy part of the of the population.
Yeah.
The number is 18%, uh,
Ooh.
which is very, very, very high, right?
It is high.
It is extremely. It's 1 in 5 almost. So it's not. We're not talking about something that affects the others, right?
Hmm.
It's us as people, and,
Definitely.
and I think that then naturally leads to, well, of course, this is going to impact your users. They have buying power. It's going to impact B2B businesses, obviously, because your customers have customers again that are going to require this. And
Yeah.
then you have all the legal um, pushes for it as well. Obviously, with the now here in Europe with the European Accessibility Act, we're kind of standardizing around it, and yeah, that's impacting businesses that do business in Europe. So pretty much everyone
Yeah.
in the digital world, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, the legal side is coming along as well, but I think the business case is very strong, even without the legal. So it should be an easy argument to make if you find the numbers.
And that's so true, and I like how you put that in good perspective, where you're already breaking down the type of people that we may meet. Some people are people who love people, and some people are business minded people. It's all about the numbers. So I love that you share that, but you also share one of the reason why accessibility is so important. One is that there is a big juicy market out there, more than 1.3 billion people with a disability. And I mean, they're not even counting people who are aging, people with temporary disabilities.
Mm.
There's so many things that they're not counting in, even in that statistic. And so many people are living with a disabilities that they are not even aware of. I mean, I would probably say that it took me almost, well, I'm not going to disclose my age here, but it took me a long time to know that I had a season, they call it temporary, episodic disability. So, as you see me talking, as I am talking right now, Austin, you might not be able to tell that I had a disability at some point, but for me, it's temporary and episodic, which means it comes and goes at any point in time. I lose my voice. So, I am what you will probably categorize as mute. So, I can talk for weeks or for months, but no one knows that, especially in time like that where it's not even visible. So I didn't call myself a person with a disability because I just didn't know it was a disability. I always
Mm.
cope with that. So it's really important to know that your audience, the people you're serving, or even your employees may have a disability. Not all disabilities are visible. And I love what you said about that also, Austin, because hey, if you're not trying to help your audience and get that market and increase your bottom line, think about lawsuit, the
Sure.
risk, and
And it's
legal.
even people with absolutely zero disability, we're not 100% all of the time, right? And even if we are 100%, we don't want to use 100% of that ability to get through a web shop. So
That's right.
please do make it accessible.
Make it accessible, please. Oh gosh, I can talk on and on with Austin, but guys, please say thank you to Austin for me. Austin, where can people get to connect with you?
Find us at highcharts.com in general, and please poke around and yeah, give us feedback and try out the tools for visualization and sonification and all of the fun stuff. And let us know if anything's inaccessible.
There you have it. Go try it and connect with them. I mean, they can make charts and more accessible. And I love that you say we capture the intent. So, guys, this platform is all about exploring and learning better way to make things accessible. And I'm so happy that Austin came and shared a little bit of light with us. So everyone, thank you so much, and I will see you next Friday. We're gonna have another talk, so same time, join me, and it's just gonna be fun. Austin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
Bye, everyone.